Number 7, Baten Kaido's Origins. Wow, this one blew me away. Baten Kaido's Origins is a card battling JRPG, and it does such a good job combining the two things into a fun, in-depth, sometimes challenging experience. I really like games that use deck building to fight, and based on how the deck is built changes how you play the game. There's something about having a deck that gets you destroyed by an enemy, and once you go back and rework it, you're able to smash the enemy. It's just so satisfying. This is a very long game, taking about 45 hours to complete, depending on how much you do extra. Since this was my first time playing the game, I was trying to get all the cards, talk to all the characters, and just fully experience the world. JRPGs are my favorite genre of any video game, so this might be a biased pick, but I think this game does some really good things, and the story had me hooked from the early hours. I haven't played the first game yet, but I heard it's better than this one, so I can't wait for it. But if you want to play them with the story being in order, then it's best to start with this since it takes place first. I was so happy to see this game get remastered after being lost on this console for so many years. So if you like deck builders and JRPGs, like me, I would recommend giving this one a try. Number 6, Evolution Worlds. We've made it to the first game on this list that I think most people would disagree with me about. I have to start with the fact that I love the JRPG genre, so most games that fall into that category are just going to get more love from me. But for this one, I don't think it's the case of the genre, I just think the game is very good. I'm speaking of Evolution Worlds, 2 separate games in the same series smashed into one title and put on the GameCube. Where do I start with this one? First, I'll come out and say it, the story gets much better in the second half of the game compared to the first half, but I feel like that somehow lets the characters stand out more. The game has pretty limited dialogue outside of the main story parts, but it does a great job making each character feel special, and then just different. None of the characters are the same. The gameplay for this one is turn-based, but it's on a 3x3 grid. This allows for us to decide if we want to put out less damage, but then take less damage, or take more damage and put out more damage, based on where we line up each party member. We even have the option to use attacks and items to line up the enemies so that we can hit them all at once. This sets up for some crazy combos, and we can really use the strengths of our party members, meaning that there's kind of an element of strategy to the battle system. It's not a perfect game though, and I think it struggles with its presentation. The graphics feel a bit dated, and the large dungeons can feel old after doing 15 floors of a dungeon that look mostly the same. But for me, that's things that don't really bother me as a gamer, so I feel like Evolution Worlds deserves a spot in my top 10. Maybe this will change in the future, but for now, I'm sticking with this one.